Hi, I'm Amaya and welcome back to my channel. I was recently thinking about how a lot of K-pop groups don't have a signature sound. I want to make it clear that I do like these groups and listen to them. My favorite K-pop group is SF9 and there is no one style that you could say is theirs. Musical identity is different from a concept. LE SSERAFIM's concept is being fearless. It was the name of their debut song, which confidently introduced them to the world. It's also their name rearranged. Their name is an anagram for I'm fearless. They also are very consistent visually with their fallen angel concept across their teasers, and they're executed really well, but none of this has to do with the music. LE SSERAFIM debuted in 2022 as a six-member girl group under Source Music Entertainment. Fearless, Anti-Fragile, Unforgiven, Easy, Crazy, Hot, and Spaghetti are all different genres. They're so different that if you played them for a group of people, they probably wouldn't be able to guess that they're all by the same group. While there's nothing wrong with experimentation, it's hard to build a strong following when a group has several comebacks in a row that are all very different. It can also weaken the group identity, which we'll get to later. Let's talk about our next group, IZNA. IZNA was formed on the survival show Island Season 2. IZNA is a unique group because their music is managed by Wake1, but what? IZNA is a unique group because they are managed by Wake1, but their music is made by Teddy, the producer from the Black label. They are also the first group from Wake1 to have a 7-year contract. All of Wake1's groups in the past have had temporary contracts like IZ*ONE, 101, IOI. Their title tracks IZNA, Sign, Beep, and Mamma Mia don't really make sense together. They get the benefit of the doubt because they are a very new group, but this is the time to really show audiences what you plan on doing in the future. Unsuccessful comebacks in the beginning of a group's career can make it harder to build a fan base later on. My next example is Kep1er, who really suffers from this issue because they are a temporary group, who debuted in 2022 with Wadada. Wadada was an extremely controversial song. Their first comeback up was a refreshing summer pop song, just to go back to their debut style when they did Refresh. Giddy and Galileo were pretty similar and more pop sounding, but by then they only had one title track left before their planned disbandment, which ended up being Shooting Star. Shooting Star I give a pass because it does sound like a disbandment song, so it's kind of unfair to compare it to their other ones. But just looking at that before we get into their other songs, it's crazy to imagine them disbanding with Shooting Star when they really had no consistency across their career before then. After Shooting Star, 7 members decided to renew their contracts. Only Mashiro and Yeso left. They continued on with Tippy Tap, which again sounded like the style they were going for before Shooting Star, so I will count that as 3 consistent comebacks. But afterwards they changed their style again with Bubblegum, which was more, I confuse these two, Girl Crush and Teen Crush, but it was one of those. Kep1er only had a consistent sound for, up to this point, 2 to 3 comebacks through their career. For the final group, we have TNX. TNX is a group with so many marketing problems that I could do a video just on them, and I might just do that in the future. TNX was formed on the survival show Loud, which featured both Psy from P Nation Entertainment and JYP from JYP Entertainment. The purpose of the show was for both entertainment companies to form their own boy groups. So Psy ended up forming TNX, who debuted in May of 2022. JYP ended up forming Kickflip, who didn't debut until January of 2025. They debuted with Move, which I can only describe as a loud boy group song. Love or Die was pop rock. Kick It For Now was an 80s to 90s style hip hop song. Fuego was another loud boy group song, and For Real is pop punk. So as you can hear, there's a lot of variety across these songs. They changed their name to the New Six during their promotional period, and then became TNX again after Kyungjoon left the group in late 2024. For some of the groups I named, like LE SSERAFIM, you could argue that the variety across their title tracks is part of their concept. For LE SSERAFIM, it might be being fearless in trying new things and ignoring what is expected of them. However, it isn't just my opinion that these groups are suffering from a lack of musical identity. IZNA, LE SSERAFIM, Kep1er, and TNX have a drop in album sales each comeback. But if people are losing interest in their music now, their company might not want to renew their contracts when the time comes, with them being less than 4 years into their careers. Companies have to monitor their group's performance to identify ways to improve. This kind of performance is something we would expect for a group post-contract renewal or in the twilight of their career, not when they should be reaching their peak. IZNA and Kep1er are both managed by Wake1, and their issues may stem from Wake1's inability to pick the right title track. ISNA has more cohesive songs across their albums, like Time Bomb, Sign, Beep, and Race Car, but the company chooses different songs half the time. LE SSERAFIM can also fall into this category of needing different title tracks. For example, a lot of fans favored Eve, Psyche, and the Bluebeard's Wife over Unforgiven, and they favored Smart over Easy. This is not saying that consistent music would save these groups from people losing interest. The public might lose interest for a variety of reasons. All of these groups have lost members. Maybe the companies need to invest more money into just marketing them with the music that they already have. Maybe they need to do more promotional activities. We see LE SSERAFIM getting flamed all the time with people complaining about their vocals. Perhaps improving their vocals would help them gain a bigger audience. A group from a big company might have a larger gap of time where they can get away with not having a musical identity. For example, Rise is a group that I looked into for this video. They had increasing performance, and then their last comeback only sold 700,000 copies, that's a lot of albums. But for them, it was not expected. It was expected that they would continue to have increasing returns with each album. There may have been another reason for that, and that's also why I didn't include them in the video. This is the video. But I'm just saying, this is why I didn't include them earlier, because they've only had one comeback where they had worsening results. I also think that a group not having a strong musical identity makes it hard to market them. LE SSERAFIM, I think of their strong performance ability. Kepler, I just think of their survival show. If they work on the music, it's easier for people to get into the group, especially casual listeners. Can a group experiment with their sound and still have a strong musical identity? And the answer is an overwhelming yes. NMIXX and Red Velvet are two of the most experimental K-pop girl groups. NMIXX's entire concept is mixed pop and changing up the genres in their title tracks. Red Velvet is known for songs like Zimzalabim, Cosmic, Chill Kill, Automatic, and Psycho. No two songs sound the same, but they still have a very strong musical identity where it's easy to pick up on that sounds like a Red Velvet song. I'd argue that Idol has a strong musical identity with easily identifiable songs and a clear message despite trying different genres frequently. There are also groups like Stray Kids who have a very distinct signature sound. Of course, there are costs and benefits to each approach. A group with a distinct sound may become boring over the years if fans don't hear some kind of growth in their music. However, groups who experiment too much can get lost in the noise when newer groups debut and take the public's attention. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I already have my next video recorded. I'm gonna get back to posting consistently. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!